is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
That, to me, goes on perception, how you perceive an idea differs from how I perceive, differs from how Dennis, my eldest son here, perceives. That is one aspect. Number two, it also goes with attitude. What can be instigated negatively, a negative attitude, could be a positive attitude by the other end. Creating solutions are diverse opinion. So even if there is no road, a road must be found out of where there is no road. A solution must exist where there is no solution.
The way David said, God will make a way where there seems to be no way.
Correct.
Eldest son Dennis concludes the interpretation.
True.
Yeah, well put, well said, Asante.
Yes.
Indeed. Thank you for coming this morning. We are looking into a number of things. And of course, your party is in the mouths of anybody who is having anything to say politically. In the last month, ever since the passing of Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and people have been asking which way. Even before this, we did hear your voice in terms of, what ODM must do, even when Baba was here. And now that voice it seems to be louder. There is a party leader who's been confirmed in the person of Oburu Odinga, and we are hearing a lot of things in between. Who should not do what, who should leave, who should stay. But that the party is who will field a candidate in 2027 also comes in. So maybe somebody can tell us, because it is important in the political landscape, what exactly is going on with ODM? Simply.
I would really want to ask you again to be a little bit very specific, because it's like you've asked so many questions, about 6 questions within a bracket.
Let's go with the last one. What exactly is going on with ODM?
All right. Allow me to say that, first of all, myself, I am a woman representative from Mabay County, duly elected under the party, which is the largest party, Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, which our symbol, of course, is an orange. An orange is holistic. And I want to say, I normally put it very basic. It can be chewed. We can swallow the seeds. We can crack the pills. And also do all the stuff of the starch in it. So it is a complete orange. It is holistic as it is from its shape. ODM, strongest party. I want to say, because based on what you asked, it has always been the loudest. Even when His Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, which before commenting further, even in the studio where we are, we have to observe a minute silence. May the Lord rest his soul in eternal peace. I want to say that Jacom reigned. Jacom is still reigning. Jacom will reign. The spirit is there. Allow me, because the question is open and general,
Yes.
so I would comment on anything related to ODM, in my view, in my opinion, in my heart's desire, and what focus we need to spearhead. Allow me to take this juncture to appreciate, thank the President, the people of Kenya, the whole world, for giving Jacom, who was the ODM party leader, an excellent, a sunset, and befitting send-off. And I want to say the morning is not yet over, and no wonder we still have troops going to Kango, Kajaramogi to condole with the family. Number two, I want to say that the ODM had a party leader who was a real father of the nation. And remember, the father also is one of the founding fathers of this nation. I want to say that having inherited many names, Jacom, who is the party leader ODM, was God sent. Sent to an extent that I want to recognize and appreciate Dr. Ida Betty Odinga. As we are mourning Jacom, the kind of inflow at Bondo confirms that Mama Dr. Ida Betty Odinga is not a simple woman. Otherwise, people will not walk to her home. That means she's also a woman, a mother, a leader of high integrity. Having sustained all the battles, the barriers that Jacom underwent, and she has remained firm and strong, allow us to continue praying for her. Let us learn something from the party leaders, children and family. Strong, composed, consolidated. I'm just giving these preambles because I will link to what kind of leaders we want this nation to have, and particularly emanating from ODM. That is why I've saluted the family, recognized and honored. I want to say that really, in a house, in a family, in a farm, people are so many, with different attitudes, different perceptions, different thoughts, different ways of viewing things, interpreting, different quest and focus. ODM has existed. I joined in ODM. I was nominated. I want to say that ODM has its party structures. I want that as ODM, we have our leaders who are at the central committee level. Very clear structures. The party leader, the chairperson, who is of course my Governor, Excellency Honorable Gladys Atino Nyasunawanga. We have our Secretary General, who is Edwin Sifuna. And there are so many, the Women League, the Youth League, even up to county level and grassroots level. That confirms the structures of ODM. I want to say that we are led and given direction as members, as delegates within ODM. And I want to say that despite the fact that structures are there, doesn't deter somebody from his own entitled opinion that can be brought on the table for discussion.
Okay.
I want to say, in any party, in any family, in any organization, you cannot miss a point of confusion. I want to say that in any organization, you can't miss people with independent interest. You cannot miss people who have interest for the wider group. But all this joined together, we look into how we can strengthen the party.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to that question because what's going on? Because we hear a number of things. Senator Buru said the other day, he basically said, for the things that seem to be causing some kind of friction, just let these things play out. People who are young in the party, he mentioned Babu Owino, he mentioned Edwin Sifuna, and he said, just allow things because we're going to see how it works. This is said to be coming against voices who said, no, we are broad-based and we are going to stick in the broad-based government, and this is what Baba wanted. What's going on? Is
Thank
it
you so
sticking
much.
with the broad-based or is it finding its own path?
I would want to request you, if you have that clip, when we were holding the ODM PG meeting. Because when we are discussing and engaging, even Kenyans need to be reminded. If you had that clip, you would quickly play the last PG meeting, Baba's speech. It was very, very clear So, to me, as Honorable Dr. Joy Satino Sogo Bensouda, there is even nothing to push over. It was very clear in our PG meeting. That is point number one. Baba gave clear direction, explained the purpose as to why we are in broad-based, explained the reasons as to why we got into broad-based. Baba was very clear that this country was going to burn. Baba was very clear that he did wider consultations across the country. Baba was very clear that the Gen Zs had to be listened to. Baba was very clear that this country required inclusivity, which he has always fought for. Baba has always fought for equity, inclusivity, democracy, equitable distribution of resources. This country had to remain as one. And it is not on one occasion. In all his fight for justice, Honorable the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, has always fought for justice of this country, peace for this nation. And he has always mentioned, he had always been consistent. This country is bigger than one individual person.
But Bensouda,
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
You think all paracetamol is the same? Panadol Advance, with its unique Optizorb technology, releases medicine 5 times faster than standard paracetamol, making it ready to work in 5 minutes. Try Panadol Advance for fast and effective relief from pain and fever. Fast relief at only 15 shillings per pair.
When I was called and told that I was one of the winners of last year, I couldn't believe, because that money, I had not dreamt of getting it. So it was a surprise to me. It has helped me a lot, because I was in a very little shop. So I've moved to a better place. I have a grocery shop and a pesa. And I have also bought a piece of land out of that money. It was 1 million. And on top, I was awarded 250,000 for any chosen project, which I chose Luanda's AC Primary School, where we placed a project of 250,000 shillings worth of computers. I want to give with a clean heart. So I chose a place where every child will benefit from that project.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
We have Coast, Ali Hassan Joho. We have Western, CS Oparanya. We have other quarters of other tribes. I'm just saying those who came in under this broad-based arrangement. And so far, they are performing well.
so how did the
I would want to say-
how did the admission of these individuals you've just mentioned into cabinet answer to the questions that took these young people to the streets last year?
Let me
and
go
this
back.
year?
When the Gen Zs were on the street,
Yeah.
just beginning with the finance bill, they were demanding for justice. During that era, there were some killings which had taken place in the past in terms of demonstrations. They were also talking about the high cost of living. They were also talking about the need to be listened to.
Good governance.
Good governance. They were talking about issues of unemployment. And remember the X-Space conversation,
Yes.
where they even called that President Ruto to attend by himself, which of course, I congratulate him because he attended, but I think the discussion did not take place. He waited.
Oh, he did.
He did.
He did.
At some point.
Yep.
But at some point, the discussion they didn't take, because there are times he waited, and there's a day that he waited, but he didn't succeed. But he was asked questions, and many questions. The engagement in the X space. Now, when you looked at the Gen Z's anger, I think as a country, we took too long to wait for the finance bill to come so that we listen to the Gen Zs. In leadership, we have to own our mistakes, learn from them, establish those gaps, and see how we can change and improve and incorporate the opinion so that this country is holistic. And those are some of the things that his prime minister was fighting for.
So do you believe?
You asked a question.
Yes.
Whether I believe the broad-based arrangement addressed Gen Z's issues. I want to say that first and foremost, it did indirectly because this country had to stay united. We could not keep on staying, fighting, our children, young children, being killed on the street. I remember, if you rewind, there are some cases where even Baba, before the Gen Zs demonstrated, stop killing our children. That was very clear. I even remember there's a time that he stated during our demonstrations, Kome akome. You remember that statement?
Yes.
Kome akome. So I want to say that in his wisdom, Baba was looking broadly on what tough decisions we could take as a country. Of course, the broad-based arrangement, from the time that it started, it was not embraced by everyone. It was not. That is the reality that everybody knows in the country. But gradually, when we see the fruits of what is taking place, there are some areas in this country that had never gotten the share of even tarmac roads. Me, I want to say, for example, from Moma Bay, where I come from, we talk of Madaraka, which we saw because of this broad-based arrangement. And Madaraka came with dwelling of the roads. We can have now Kabunde being done. Not only that, but when we look into other areas, we see modern markets, we see this equity. So it is gradual. I know from what the president has been saying, the country had been undergoing difficult economic hard times. But we need to make efforts as a country. That doesn't give us excuse. We need to make efforts as a country on what strategies we are going to continuously improve on to ensure that Gen Z's concerns are addressed.
In the broad-based arrangement,
Yes.
there were 10-point agendas
Yes.
and the implementation of the same.
Yes.
And ODM has continuously said we are in broad-based and until 2027, with the 10-point agenda being the focal point within which we need to ensure that everything that is stated is implemented. In the event that the agendas have not been implemented, will ODM walk out of the broad-based arrangement even before 2027?
I would not want to say that it would work out because it is very clear. I'd requested you that you play the video of Baba's speech. Even all these questions you are asking, if that speech is played, it answers all your questions. Are we in 2027 and beyond? The video answers. Are we staying in broad-based? The video answers. Are we in government? The video answers. What arrangement do we have? Baba was clear, very clear. We are in broad-based and a 10-point agenda, as you have put it, up to 2027. This country has very clear structures of after every 5 years, we go for election as a country. And so you are the Kenyan who will decide. I am the Kenyan who will decide. All of us here are the Kenyans who will decide.
Okay. Is Kenya reaping the fruits of the broad-based government? You mentioned roads and things like that now because others have been taken into consideration. But let's look at the things that Kenyans complained about that took them to the streets. The finance bill was the tip of the iceberg, whereby they said, well, here's an opportunity for us to really express what we are concerned about. You know, Kenyans talked over and over again about poor governance, about lack of accountability, about crippling debt, about, mismanagement and misappropriation, about corruption, about disappearances and forced disappearances and extrajudicial killing. Talked about all of these things. So the question remains that coming into the broad base, for which we get it, that we come 2027, it could be a totally different thing. But if truly, like you said, the broad-based government was designed to bring this unrest to a halt, did it address the issues that started in the first place?
I want to say that as a professional career educator, I would rate the implementation and achievement of broad-based so far where we are at 30%. That is my own honest opinion. 30%.
And you can't really do anything with 30%, can you?
In terms of governance, corruption, unemployment, and what have you. Disappearances and what have you. These things, we see them on media. We live with people in the society. We have children we have given birth to. But the 30% what has been achieved in my own analysis, in my own scoring, I would say it is better than from 0 where we were. 1, I would say that across the counties, you'll find at least some in housing and infrastructure. I am not supporting, there are 2 things here. There is broad-based and there is political party. Political party, UDA remains UDA. ODM remains ODM.
Okay.
Broad-based brings the 2 parties together under the arrangement which was signed. That is where we are. But in terms of implementation, because I'm part of this broad-based at the moment, the speed with which it is being implemented needs to be adjusted, so that we think through that in governance. For example, there is privatization bill which came. If this can make employment opportunities to be increased for our youths, the industries that we're having that are dormant, if the government can revive them.
Because 2 political parties came together, now a government would do what it's meant to do constitutionally anyway.
I agree.
Why wouldn't they do that before?
I agree. And I'm asking, because you asked, since we joined into the broad-based, where are we? Where are we? Where are we is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And I've started by scoring both
30%.
broad-based. 30%, which means we still have 70%. What am I trying to say?
What makes up that 30%?
What makes the 30% is the number of roads so far
How many
that have been launched
since June 2024.
Because I know we have engagements at times, and we ask and we call the ministers to Parliament to answer to our questions. There's been a problem with contractors pending bills, which a framework was told to us by Honorable CS Chirchir that they are working on so that contractors can go on road. In regard to Homa Bay, I know that we have a ring road in Mfangano, we have a ring road in we have another road in Karachuonyo. There are some roads which were open during Madaraka. If you go to Homa Bay from Homa Bay town, when I went back yesterday, in fact, yesterday I was in Homa Bay, but I saw now the contractor is on road. That's what I'm saying. The pace of the work is slow, and that's why, in terms of infrastructure, I've rated at 30%.
But I'm sorry, but I have to insist on this point.
Yes.
Because like these roads that you've given examples of, they're in Homa Bay.
Because I come from Homa Bay, so they're at my fingertips.
Okay, so you can see them.
I can see them.
Not that they're in a particular
but others
area.
Are also there, but they are told to us. Are you getting that?
Okay.
I've traveled to Thika Road.
Okay.
You go there, you will find super highway roads.
But that was there with Kibaki.
I know. That's a point I'm bringing. And therefore I'm saying we now need equity.
Okay.
And that is what is taking place. That is what President Ruto is trying to do. That is the point I'm bringing.
Okay.
In fact, when I went those sides of, if you take this road to Thika Road and other places, there are some roads you don't even believe you are in Kenya. Super. So we want this in Turkana, we want them Trans Nzoia, we want them where, so that there is equity. I'm not only talking to be done. Then much more energy, much more vigor, much more resources must be put. That is on just infrastructure example. When I come to abductions and killings, even yesterday over the news, you saw the civil society who are talking about
Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo.
So these are the things that we should move with speed as a country. Gen Zs are complaining. I know that compensation was supposed to take place. So we are saying the broad-based arrangement is okay. It has no death of the political parties in it. UDA just to strengthen their party. ODM must strengthen their party.
Okay, let's talk about ODM. Let's come back to ODM.
Yes.
And there's a story here, and it's been carried in the daily since Monday. Since the acting party leader, Odinga, talked about the structured cooperation with UDA and in the broad-based arrangement. So there's division within the party, and in this sense, whether to support President William Ruto's administration unconditionally, or attach a set of political demands ahead of 2027 general election. So there's one faction within ODM that is arguing that the party has been orphaned okay, and should therefore fully cooperate and unconditionally back President Ruto to safeguard development gains within the ODM bastions. However, there's another group within ODM that is insisting that any form of support must come with clear political guarantees, including key government positions and protection of ODM's political identity. There are those who are saying, look, if we then have a deputy president in 2027 backing Ruto, then we will consider. Then there's another faction that does not totally agree with this broad-based arrangement, does not agree with what UDA and ODM are working on. So with these fractions within ODM, just take us through the conversations within the party with all these different ideas ahead of 2027 election.
One, I would say that I don't want to get into the faction. I want to talk because I've gotten the idea, what you want me to unpack.
Yes.
I would want to say that whoever is opposing the broad-based government now, and now that Jacom is not with us, is not sincere. Because this broad-based was existing even before Jacom left us. And this broad-based has to go up to 2027. And I want to categorically say that we must not confuse our people. Jacom was very clear that this broad-based arrangement is up to 2027. And this was in the public domain. We must not confuse the Kenyans. This broad-based arrangement is supposed to implement the 10-point agenda, which was under the memorandum signed in the public at KICC. We need not to confuse Kenyans. That is my stand on broad-based. Number two, I want to say that all leaders, including His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Kenyans elected him to serve the Kenyans, regardless of who voted for him or not. So as Kenyans, we have a right of whether those who voted for him or not, he must serve all Kenyans. That is his duty. So this business of confusing Kenyans, that they are not, why are we concentrating on election, yet Kenyans are looking for services?
This is the thing that we need you to tell us.
To me, no, I'm talking as Bensouda now.
Yeah.
Because when we talk as a party, ODM, we talk under a voice that is agreed and directed. And that is why I'm very categorical. What I've said about the broad-based arrangement up to 2027 is a voice from the party leader, His Excellency Right Honorable Prime Minister. What I'm now talking about as a leader elected, it is time to work for Kenyans. What is this business of hell of a lot of politicking? We want to do the roads. We want to ensure health hospitals are having need. So we support the president to implement his agenda.
So Bensouda, just a quick one, because you've talked about you've talked about disallowing confusion, because there's what Prime Minister Raila Odinga had said, the arrangement of broad-based up to 2027. The acting party leader, Oburu Oginga, hinted, and this is through a local TV interview, hinted that ODM will only support Ruto's 2027 re-election bid if the Orange Party is assured of at least deputy president slot.
Political parties exist so that you defend your people, you get the power, and you also provide services to the people. First of all, even allow me to congratulate our new party leader. Very wise. Very, very wise. Since he started acting, to me, I think he's just full. He's guiding us, he's fatherly, he has the wisdom, he has always been there for us. And you can see the work that he's doing. When he says that we are supporting the president on condition that at least the minimum, the bare minimum that we can get
is deputy president.
Yes. We have also supported him. This is ODM, this is a party.
So if he does that,
when Uhuru says it is bargaining power.
So if he does that, let's just assume Ruto decides Bensouda will be my deputy, for example.
Yeah.
Are you then saying that ODM then is going to support his re-election past 2027?
We are not saying that because even as a party within its own structure, party alone cannot elect President Ruto. It is the Kenyans who are electing President Ruto.
No, party endorsement. That's what I mean.
What I'm saying.
Is ODM then going to endorse his candidature if he says, fine, I either want Bensouda to be my deputy because you're from ODM?
We have not said that. Even the party leader, Dr. Buru, has not said that. He has not mentioned that.
No, he said the bare minimum here will be nothing lower than number
and
2.
And that is
in
what
any
I'm
formation.
answering by saying you must have your bargaining powers. Okay. We cannot know whether on private areas or levels Dr. William Samoei Ruto, because he's a candidate, he's also a president. He would want to do his 2 terms like any other president. We don't know whether he has given a private consultation. But as a leader, even myself, when I go back to the village, which is normal, it's not even a question of private. When I go, even when I was serving my people, I serve them and I request them, please, when it comes to 2027, ensure that you re-elect me. It is not wrong for President Ruto to ask for a re-election.
Okay. So we have the 10-point agenda,
yes,
which is the focal point, which has brought about the broad-based government.
Yes.
But you look at everything that is under the 10-point agenda, and a Kenyan would look at it and say, these are things that the government ought to do anyway.
Yes.
There was no need of ODM getting into broad-based government, but we find ourselves here. So then how then is ODM in government with UDA and supporting all the agenda of UDA? Or is ODM still an opposition party checking the government excesses and ensuring that services are delivered to Kenyans?
I want to answer that by asking, I wish I knew that question was there. I would have carried my clip. There was a time, I don't like mentioning people's names at times, yes, because they need their respect. Before we got into broad-based arrangement, myself personally in Parliament, I said that President Ruto is not performing well because of the kind of leaders around him. Especially by the time that we were coming up with implementation of CBC. That thing completely defeated CS Machogu. That is just one to mention. I told him some of the cabinet you are having, they are not worth it. So personally, as Honorable Bensouda, when I saw the reshuffling and I bring in Honorable Opio Wandaya, bring in CS Mbadi specifically, we see professionals, we see some energy. And Dr. William Samoei Ruto is also energetic. Actually, the truth is he's an intelligent person. That is the truth. But you can be intelligent, but you cannot run the whole county alone. You cannot run all the ministry. You need thorough people who are your wings to ensure governance, good leadership, transparency, and accountability. So the truth is, the government was failing. That is the truth. And I still stand on that. And even that's why I'm saying, in my rating for broad-based, I'm rating it at 30%. Because now it's like we are now moving on. We can see some stadiums, we can see the roads, we can see the markets. But what I'm saying, the speed is a bit slow. Even youth unemployment in this country is a serious issue. That is the truth. Youth unemployment. So when we talk about privatizing some industries, I want it to move with speed so that at least we have even only 1,000 youths employed in industries and factories in all our 47 counties. That is what I'm saying. There is a bit that I still wanted to say about what you read, but I think you brought in another question, the faction of supporting, the faction not supporting.
And the faction that does not support any of these
I say that one, they are going anti
Yes.
the will of Prime Minister. That is the truth. But they have their democratic right, which must be respected. Democratic right of each individual. I know the confusion, which is natural. People are also looking for their spaces. Dennis wants to be what? You want to be what? Bensouda wants to be what? And these are the things when we consolidate together, it's confusing the Kenyans. So I would want to use this opportunity to request that we must strengthen our party as ODM. We must support Dr. Oburu Odinga. There is no political party which can run without focus. And that is why we are saying, and that is why even Dr. Oburu said the bare minimum. So if President Ruto wants us to support him, we must also work, he must know that also our party, ODM, it is a strong party. And that is the truth. And issues of politics are issues of numbers. Yes. So I want to believe if these structures are respected, to me, the concentration of ODM in wherever positions they are
Okay.
They must serve the Kenyans.
Broad-based government notwithstanding, in terms of whether, that 10-point agenda, which is what formed the operations for it, will actually be achieved is a big question. But then let's just look at the logistics of it. If we go by that last public statement that Honorable Raila Odinga made about ODM's position, if it stays in broad-based until 2027 and is also going to field a candidate in the election 2027, logistically, how would that work out? In broad-based and then elections and then campaigning? How would that, I'm just asking a puzzle question. How would that really work?
That's a very good question. Actually, what he's even said, we shall be advised when we reach there. As Bensouda, I cannot advise ODM from one voice. He was categorical. We shall be advised. Actually, even made two statements. Who told you that ODM will not be in the ballot? Those are his words, not my words. You play that video, you'll find it. Who told you? You wait until we give you advice.
Okay, so let's just think. You said that you were speaking as Bensouda. Okay, so now think as Bensouda. Think practically.
Yeah.
So let's assume that come 2027, that ODM will field a presidential candidate.
Definitely.
Okay. How will it work? Campaigning, for example,
Definitely.
if you're still in broad-based.
Definitely, I would want to tell you we are in 2025. We would be given direction if Raila was alive. Dr. Buru is equal to the task. He will still give us direction. ODM Central Committee is not dead, it is existing. Structures of ODM are alive. I want to believe that we shall still be given direction. There is no election that we shall approach and near without clear direction. Definitely what you are asking is fundamental. If we have to appear on the ballot, if we have to propose a candidate,
yes,
the logistics of campaign, they will give us direction at the right time. And when Baba was talking like that, we do not know the level of his preparedness.
I'm sorry, Bensouda.
Allow me to conjoin with this kindly.
Perhaps it will help you do that because you've said very clearly that two things can be true, right? But those two things in their truth cannot be possible. If you say you remain in broad-based until 2027, an election will happen in August 2027. And we're saying that it's possible that ODM could field a presidential candidate in 2027. Logistically, does it make sense that you remain in broad-based until 2027? Or are we playing numbers with math and the months here? How will you remain in broad-based and still have the possibility of fielding a presidential candidate come 2027? It's the 1+1 that I'm looking at here.
I want to believe that you've been in Kenya here for several elections, and many a times you've seen several coalitions. Coalitions are built under pressures of political parties. And I want to say that since these are two different parties, as we progress and we engage as a party, I cannot decide on behalf of the party. The possibility of us being in broad-based, not the possibility of us being, the possibility of us exiting broad-based, for now, it is not there. We are in broad-based because that is what we signed.
Even if the 10-point agenda that you've agreed is not implemented, you'll still be in broad-based government.
Or
would you walk out if you feel like, or you see that the implementation
in a
is
party
not
there is consultation. We have consistent and steady consultation. How many times did the late Prime Minister walk out from other political arrangements? How many times?
Okay.
Yeah. But I cannot speak as an individual when it comes to such magnitude of party decisions, because even we were guided that time by party leader himself. So who am I as Bensouda to start saying that we shall walk out? We shall consult.
But it's an option on the table as well?
We shall consult.
Okay.
In any political party, you must have even more than 10 options. We can walk out, we can stay, we can support, we can come into a coalition. Even I've heard keenly those who have always been talking. It's not only one. We shall be part of the government. We shall form part of the government. There is nothing wrong with spearheading and saying that you must be on the front line. Any other child would want to be number one. Why would ODM want to be number 2?
How is ODM dealing with the internal wrangles for those who are anti-broad-based, there are those who say we are pro-broad-based? How is the party, if you have the information on how it is working towards ODM unity beyond even 2027?
There has been a consultation where they sit down and they talk. And I think from Dr. Buru's statement, he said that the wrangles which are there, we cannot say that they are not there. But we shall be handling them with the time. Even when it came to party leader, when he was being endorsed, I think somebody asked that now, where are you taking the Luos? He confirmed that people have been asking him, where are you people taking us? At this time, if at all you will not be there tomorrow, Jacom is not there tomorrow, who will be the champion? The kingpin of whatever. But he responded very nicely as a wise man. In fact, that is the day I confirmed even more of his wiseness. You don't have to elect a kingpin. A kingpin emerges like a mushroom. That is where I am. In business, we don't campaign for kingpins. It emerges. You remember how Joseph now was the one who was appointed? It's not by killing people and hanging their clothes, giving clothes and smearing blood on others. It emerges. I always believe that whoever God has anointed stands.
There are people within your party who have said openly that they have declared their and transferred rather all their allegiance, essentially all the allegiance that they held for Raila Odinga to William Ruto. Within your party, the same sentiments are upheld by some within the party who are in government, who have said, so you can be talking about dates of 2027, but for them, their allegiance wholeheartedly is placed.
I want to categorically say
they're in the ODM party. So
yes.
Do we have a split screen of ODM?
Yes, no, that's not a split. Categorically, those who are absorbed in the government and they are in ODM, you are in executive. You cannot serve the legislature. You serve the executive. And who is your boss in the executive? Even all these CSS appointments, the PSS appointments, those who are appointed who come from ODM, they must support the government. And their boss is President Ruto. There's nothing wrong with that.
Do they represent the position of the party?
They have to do the work they are employed to do, not the work of ODM. Now that is ours, which is legislation. But there are those also we admit. Let us just be plain. There's somebody who can just talk probably. Either somebody wants allegiance because there are some weaknesses which he or she understands. There is sycophancy in leadership. There is lack of honesty in leadership. There are people also who have their own very deep agenda.
Are some of those people within the ODM party who you're expecting to be one party held together? These things that you talk about.
In any organization, you don't meet sycophants. That is obvious. You don't meet pretenders. You don't meet people who are not honest. But in all this, Baba cushioned everybody. It doesn't mean that when Baba was alive, we didn't have such kind of people. That is why, as a leader, we need somebody very wise. Somebody who can hold hands of everybody in their weaknesses. So that is why I'm saying we have very short time to achieve 10-point agenda.
Some of them have sworn allegiance to William Ruto until 2032 within the party, who is under the leadership still of the edict made by Raila Odinga.
Because of their interpretation of what broad-based is. And that's why I said that people have different opinion in anything. This phone is rectangular.
Okay.
When I ask you, you might tell me it is square. You might tell me it is oval. So it depends on how you view things.
And you could be wrong.
In your heart, when I say that so-and-so is very good, you can say the person is good, but in your heart, you know the person is bad. So there's a lot of dishonesty also amongst people. That one we don't rule out. But my urge is that we must consolidate ODM as a party. We must operate under the structures of ODM. We must respect the voice of the party leader and the conclusion which he gave at the PG meeting. As members of ODM, we must listen to what our leaders whom we are having are telling us in terms of direction, in terms of consultation, in terms of how we'll vote, in terms of how we'll operate. Because not only at the top level that we require leadership, we'll require governance. It does not mean that when we are in broad-based, ODM will not be fighting to have more governors, more MPs, more senators, more women reps. Because you have the numbers, you have the power.
Joyce Osogo Bensouda is the Homa Bay woman representative, and she's been here with us this morning. Looking at the intrigues of the party, two things have been clear. We're there till 2027, and we want to make sure that the broad base goes from 30% at least 50, maybe by 2027.
From the pace that I see things are happening, because even myself, I want to ask, in fact, allow me to use this opportunity to request Dr. William Samoei Ruto. There are requests I made to him at State House in Kisumu. School bus, that is my home school. I'm requesting him this morning. The school bus for Georgia Golu War. I need it because I'm representing people. There are markets I requested which he confirmed that he would give me. Now this one I'm using, I'm taking advantage. Sikwa the market in Ndewa. That's why I'm rating this at 30. I had my reasons for rating this thing at 30%.
If he gives the school bus on the markets, the rating will go up?
This is for women rep. Women rep.
Yes.
Women rep in only 2 constituencies. Then in Palamarket in North Karachuonyo.
Okay.
So we cannot talk of something and it takes too long before implementation. So this is just, Bensouda is just one over hundreds of thousands of leaders who are having requests. So let us try and move very fast in this broad-based implementation so that we achieve at least the MOU at even 60%.
At
because
least.
we even know the country is constrained and we are not Jesus to perform miracles.
Absolutely. Bensouda Santisana, thank you for being here this morning.
I think if we work like that, but allow me to call upon all leaders, let us serve this country. If we emulate the way in which His Excellency Prime Minister Raila Odinga was doing his politics, it was not hate, it was not chest thumping, it was not fighting, it was not abusing people. What he fought for was justice, democracy, peace, equity. I want to encourage Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto. He is very intelligent. And now that he has foot soldiers who are intelligent around him, let him make use of the ODM fraternity and also make use of his people so that we deliver the services to the Kenyans as much as possible. Thank you so much. I love Homa Bay County and I thank them always for being with me. I'll stand with them and I'll diligently serve them. I'm also telling them I'm requesting for re-election 2027. So when ODM requests for anything, there is nothing wrong.
Thank you very much, Bensouda. Joyce Osongo, woman rep, Homa Bay County. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. You too.
And I invite you to Homa Bay County.
We shall come.
Thank you.
It's a few minutes past 9. Good morning.
Asante sana.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.